Andre, I'd like to ask you a few questions, of course, about your journey, how you were able to quit your 9-to-5 job, and how you were able to monetize social media, in particular Facebook, using long-form video content to build a 6-figure business. So let's start. Could you please tell us more about yourself, how you got started, and why?
So yeah, about myself, as you said, I'm from Portugal. I'm 30 years old at this moment, and I started my affiliate marketing business back in 2019 in August. Before that, I was an engineer, so I studied engineering for 5 years. I took a master's degree, and I started working in a job in 2016, and I worked for 4 years in multiple different jobs. And the last job I had, I was working 60, 70 hours a week. So it was a lot
Oh.
of time dedicated to the job. I didn't have a lot of free time to do other things, and it started affecting my health due to the high stress of the job that I was in. I was working as an IT consultant, and it came to a point where I started having my body started giving me symptoms that something was not right. And I went to the doctor. The doctor said, "You are working too much, you are working too many hours, and the stress levels are affecting your health. So you need to do something about this." So that's when I started reflecting and thinking, okay, what should I do? Should I continue in this job working for 40 years and affecting my health? Should I look for something else? And that's when I started searching online. The first thing I did was searching on Google how to make money online. That's what most people do. I
Same here.
started I started finding multiple different things, forex trading, affiliate marketing, network marketing, drop shipping. So I got overwhelmed with so many options, like most people do. And the first thing I tried was forex trading. So that's the first thing I decided to give a try. I tried that for a few weeks, spent a few weeks learning, and I didn't enjoy it. And when I realized it was not for me, I started looking for something else, and I found affiliate marketing. And the first person that really opened my eyes for affiliate marketing was Brian Brewer on YouTube. So I started consuming a lot of his content on YouTube, and I started trying affiliate marketing, trying the ways they were teaching on YouTube. I spent a few months trying free methods from YouTube to see if I was able to get results before I invested in anything. So it was like 2-3 months just trying free methods without investing any money. I didn't get any results from that, and after those few months of trial and error, I found a course that Brian Brewer was recommending. Brian Brewer had a free course in his YouTube description. So I joined this free course. And then inside that free course, he was recommending a training, which was a $7 training. And that was my first paid course that I bought. I started from that point becoming a bit more serious about investing in myself. I started changing my mindset around investing. So because I had a mindset of the mindset that society tells us, which is basically save your money, don't invest, and save until retirement. So my mindset with money was not investing in myself; it was saving as much as possible in the beginning. So that's why I spent 2 or 3 months without investing anything. Then I started investing, bought my first course, and started changing my mindset about investing in myself. Started understanding that investing in myself allows me to save a lot of time because I can learn from people that are already doing what I want to do. So I started buying more courses, more trainings, and eventually, after a few months, I made my first sale, which was a $2 commission. I will never forget that one. $2.80 commission. And from that point, I started learning more. I found the high ticket affiliate marketing world because in the beginning I focused on promoting more lower ticket products, so $7 products, $37 products. That was what I promoted a lot in the beginning. I got some results. Then I found the power of high ticket and started promoting more expensive products. And that's when things really started to take off, when I started focusing more on the high ticket side of things.
It sounds very similar to my journey when I started. So I also tried different business modules online until I then found affiliate marketing, and it just was the best fit for me as well. So you worked a lot of hours in your previous job then. I can imagine that this had a toll on your health. So how did you find the transition actually from the engineering job to the online world?
It was in the beginning. I was still working a lot of hours and trying to build a business on the side. So what I was doing was I was waking up earlier to work 1 hour before I went to the job, because what I started noticing was if I was just working in the business after the job, I was very tired and it was hard for me to focus. So I started putting my hours of the most energy that I have, which is in the morning, to the business. So I was waking up earlier to work on the business before the job. So I was doing 1 hour before the job, then going to the job, coming back late, coming back in the evening after the job, and doing more 30 minutes or 1 hour after the job. And I was prioritizing the tasks that took most of my energy in the morning, for example, creating content. And then later it would be more adding friends, which is a task that doesn't require a lot of brain power to do. So that's how I started structuring my schedule. And when it comes to the differences between both, so as I said, I had a mindset a lot of saving money, a lot of working for 40 years and then retiring, and I just wanted to I was just waiting for the weekends. I didn't want to work, so it was a mindset that was a bit negative because I didn't enjoy what I was doing. So it
Same
was very
here.
different. Yeah, so it was very different from what it is now with having my own business. So when it comes to the differences, in a job I didn't have responsibility. I was not the one making decisions. Now with my business, I'm the one that has all the responsibility. I need to make all the decisions, which adds a bit of stress in that side of things, because you are the one that really needs to think about everything and make all the decisions. But I like that because it's a challenge and I love learning, and I like to become the best version of myself. So I really found something where I can really grow and I enjoy what I'm doing. I see myself working on this for the next 40 years, but in the job I was not seeing myself doing that for the next 40 years. So it's something that I really enjoy doing. Also, another thing that is an advantage of having a business is being able to control your schedule. Now that I'm doing this full time, I can control my schedule. For example, Monday and Tuesday I had medical appointments, so I could switch my schedule and go to the medical appointments without having to justify to a boss, without having to not work or to miss work. I could change my schedule to adjust. And so those are mainly the differences between both. Another thing is starting an online business or starting any business is not easy. It's a challenge. It's probably one of the hardest things we will do. Most businesses fail, but the rewards are amazing. So it's something that will challenge you if you decide to start your own online business, but it's one of the most rewarding things you will do. Not just the money. I think better than the money is the person you become in the process, is how much you change as a person and how much your belief system changes and the way you see the world changes. So for me, that's the best part. Is the when I look back 4 years ago or 5 years ago when I was in that job, and I look at me now, I see a big difference in the person. Okay, I'm a completely different person, and that growth for me is the best thing.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate. And I think this is really the beauty of having your own business, especially your online business. It is a challenge, and it's a challenge every single day. But it's that, the growth, we are growing as people, and it's so beautiful to do something for your own, to create something for your own. And for me, it's the time freedom and the location freedom. For me personally, is just it's for me just the best solution. Matea says, awesome to hear how transition happened from employer mindset to entrepreneurial mindset. It is a journey, I feel, having this employee mindset and then having the transition to becoming a solopreneur. It is a journey, but it's a beautiful journey. A journey full of challenges, but also great rewards. So yeah,
Yeah, you need to have a really strong why to be able to stick with it with all the challenges that you face. For me, my why was that painful situation I was in. It made me do whatever it took to start and to keep going and not never give up. If you don't have a painful situation where you are right now, you need to think about the other side, which is what do you want? What do you want your life to look like? Because there are two things that motivate us to take action, or pain or desire. So if you are not in a painful situation, you need to look at the other side and really imagine what do you want from your life, and then really see yourself in that situation. And if it's something you really want, you will do whatever it takes to get there. So you will have a lot of challenges, and what will keep you going when things are not going well, when you are not generating results, when you spend a few months, the first few months of your journey, you will probably not see any sales, but what keeps you going is having that strong motivation and that strong desire to get to where you want to go.
Absolutely, yes. Matea's just saying location freedom was also the reason for me that I quit my job. And yeah, for me, it's the location freedom. I wish I had found the online business world much sooner, because for me, moving around a bit in Europe, always finding a new job where I just landed, that was a proper hassle. So looking back, I wish I had started much earlier, of course. But now, well, I can say I'm happy that I finally started.
Yeah, same. I wish I started this when I was 18 before going to university.
Exactly. I think if I had known back, and mind you, I spent 8 years at university, and I went to university in England, and that was quite pricey. And I was like, when I look back now, maybe I had skipped that part. But anyway,
exactly.
Because the opportunities online are just so great, and
yeah, we live in an age where there is so much opportunity, and we have the internet that other people before us didn't have. So we need to really use this opportunity, because it's something that is huge.
Yes, and I think it's great to take advantage of this big advantage that this big opportunity that is given to us. And Andre, so you're having the most success with using Facebook. Is there a particular reason why you choose to focus on Facebook? And would you recommend people who are new to the affiliate world to focus on one traffic source only?
Yes, so Facebook has something that is very unique when compared to other platforms, which is your ability to control your audience growth. So the way you grow your audience on Facebook is by adding people as friends. So you are in control over how many people enter your audience, because as long as you keep adding friends, your audience keeps growing. If you compare that, for example, with YouTube, which is a platform that I'm using right now, that I added recently to my business, on YouTube, what I'm doing is posting a piece of video content and waiting for the YouTube algorithm to show it to people. I'm leveraging the audience from Facebook that I already built to send some of those people to YouTube. But if I didn't have that audience, I would just be waiting for YouTube to grow my channel, to show my video to people when people would be searching. Okay, so on YouTube, you don't have a way to get your video in front of more people unless you have an audience somewhere else and you send them to YouTube. On Facebook, you have a way to control how many people get exposed to you, because as long as you add friends, you have people. You add 50 friends a day. If 30% of them accept, or 33%, which is more or less the percentage I tracked, it's around 15 people per day will accept, and you grow your audience by 15 people every single day. So you can grow an audience of 300 people in a month, more or less, which is amazing. So that rapid audience growth is one of the reasons why using Facebook when you don't have any audience is one of the fastest ways to grow, because you can grow an audience very quickly when compared to other platforms. Of course, now there is TikTok, which at the time when I was starting, it was not a big thing. And on TikTok, you can go viral and you can explode very quickly. But it's out of your control still, because you need to wait for the algorithm for you to go viral, right? So Facebook has that unique feature, or that unique approach, where you can really control and predict how many people are going to enter your audience based on your actions. As long as you are taking action daily, your audience is growing. Okay, so I tried. So you had two questions. The second question was why one traffic source, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to start with 3 traffic sources at the beginning. It was I tried a bit of YouTube at the time with Facebook and Instagram, so the 3 at the same time, while working 60, 70 hours a week. So it was insane. And I was overwhelmed with so many tasks to do, because I had to post on Instagram, to post on Facebook. I had to create videos for YouTube. I had to create thumbnails, do SEO, all those things that need to be done for all those platforms for me to be able to be everywhere. So it was overwhelming, and I had so many tasks to do. And when you have so many tasks to do, it's hard for you to focus, and it's hard for you to be able to grow your skills as quickly as you would grow if you are focused on one. So when you are focused on one platform, you can really focus on the few tasks that are going to move the needle in your business. And as you are focused on those tasks, for example, on Facebook, you focus on creating content, talking with people, putting offers in front of people, adding friends. Okay, you have a few tasks that you need to do consistently daily. And as you are focused on those tasks, you do the repetitions that you need to do. For example, in Master, you are able to talk with many more people. And as you are talking with more people, you are improving your skill of talking with people and closing sales faster, because you do more repetitions. So the way we develop a skill is by doing repetitions of that skill over and over and over again. Content creation, same thing. If you, instead of you trying to create content for 3 platforms, one is video, one is written, and the other one is audio, for example, if you are trying to do all the 3, if you focus just on one, and you, for example, just do writing, you are able to develop that skill of writing much faster, because you are doing more repetitions in the same period of time. Okay, so that's why I would recommend focusing on one platform, because you can accelerate your skill development, you can develop your skills faster, and when you are focused, you are able to grow faster, because you are not overwhelmed with 10, 20 tasks to do every day, and you focus on the 2, 3, 4 things that you need to do. And usually the more we simplify the process, the faster we grow. That's what I've seen multiple times in my journey. When I complicated the process and I tried to do too much, I was slowing myself down. When I removed stuff from my business to simplify as much as possible, I was able to grow faster. So
yeah, and I can agree with the repetitions, because for me, going live, I think the more I did it, the easier it got, because the very few times, when you go live, it's a bit, strange, talking into a laptop camera, nervous. I felt nervous. I don't know. Do you remember your very first time you went live and how you felt?
yeah, it was in August 2020, the first time I went live. And I was nervous, I was stressed. And what I did when I started the live, I said, I'm going to do my first live. This is uncomfortable for me. I said this on the live. This is uncomfortable for me, but I'm going to step out of the comfort zone. And when you say something like that and you are vulnerable, people will support you. And I started seeing comments from people, keep going, you are doing amazing. Because I said I was uncomfortable. So that's how I did my first live, and that helped reduce the stress at that moment, because I was vulnerable and I said it. But the first few lives were the hardest, of course, because it was uncomfortable for me. I was an introvert before I started my business, so even posting photos of myself was uncomfortable. But
Same here.
I had to take all these steps out of my comfort zone to start posting photos, to start creating content, to start doing videos. So it was all they were all steps to step out of my comfort zone and to keep growing. But yeah, the first few lives are the hardest ones. If you guys are thinking about starting doing lives or doing videos, the first few are the hardest ones. But if you do it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it becomes easier, much easier to do. It's the repetitions that will improve your skills.
Yeah, I can agree. I did my very first live. I think it was last year in March, so almost a year ago. And yeah, now it's becoming more and more natural, actually. And as you know, for me, going live is much easier than writing content or any other
Yeah.
form of content, creating content. So yeah, it is strange sometimes how it works from being very, very nervous and feeling uncomfortable to, yeah, to, I don't want to say second nature. I'm still not there yet, but it's definitely my favorite form of content creation. And
And it's
this
very,
is
very powerful.
yeah, and it's a great, great tip, by the way, to say when you go live, to say, this is my very first live. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I
Comfort
think
zone.
that is a comfort zone. I think this is a great, great tip. And speaking of live videos, one of your major parts of your business is using long form video content.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about why you decided to focus on long form video content and where you see the benefits, of course, and how this has helped you boost your business to six figures?
Yeah. So when I started on Facebook, my first few months of Facebook were just focused on Messenger, which it was basically talking with people and trying to convert those leads into sales. I was not producing too much content. I was just focusing on the Messenger side of things. I was able to start making sales that way, just with conversations, but those sales were requiring a lot of my time because I had to be a lot of time in Messenger talking with those people, building those relationships. So I kept learning more about how the online marketing game works, and I started understanding why content is important, because content allows you to build relationships at scale with your audience. So your audience is consuming your content, you are not there. So they are still progressing in the relationship with you without you having to be talking with them for that relationship to continue growing. So I started understanding all of that, and that's when I started producing content more consistently. And then I decided to try long form video content. And what I started noticing with long form video content specifically was that the the trust building process and the relationship building process with my audience members started becoming quicker. So people were much more open to me after watching my video content. So I started seeing that the people that were consuming my video content, that were exposed to me in a different way when compared just with written content, were much more open to talk with me, trusted me much more. They were excited to hear from me. So I started seeing the power of it and how it can accelerate the relationship building process with your audience members. And by you accelerating the relationship building process, you are accelerating the customer journey. Okay, because for people to buy from you, they need to know, like, and trust you. And if you are able to build trust quicker with your audience members, you are shortening the customer journey, the journey from them not trusting you to them trusting you and being open to explore a solution that you have to offer. So I started seeing that long form video content was really accelerating that relationship and trust building process with my audience members. And when I reached the six figure mark, I started looking back at all the sales I made in the journey, and I saw that most sales I made came from people watching my Facebook Live. So my long form video content for that reason, because it allows really to accelerate the trust building process. And then I found a study, and when I found that study, it really showed me why this happens. I saw a study that mentioned that when you produce video content, you are able to get on average 66% more qualified leads when compared to someone that doesn't produce long form video content or any video content at all. Okay, because people see your face, people hear your voice, people connect
Yes.
with you in a different way. It's much
Mm.
different to watch a video from you when compared to just reading a written piece of content. Okay, so as I started understanding all of these, I started putting more focus on the long form video content. And another advantage of long form video content is that you are creating assets that nurture people for you. And this is one of the powers of video content, because I produce a piece of video content once, and it sits in my Facebook group in my guides section, and it's building relationships at scale with people while I'm not there. Okay, so I can just create a piece of video content once, takes me 15-20 minutes to create, and then I can send people to that piece of video content, and I don't need to be talking with them for the relationship to continue progressing. That piece of video content is building that relationship for me. So I started adding more leverage to my business. So as I said in the beginning, it was just Messenger without too much content. Then I started adding written content. Then I realized the power of long form video content. And what I started doing was, as I had the long form video content building relationships for me, I could reduce the time I was spending in Messenger because the weight was more on the pre-selling, on the content that is doing the relationship building for me. Okay. So for people to progress in the customer journey and for you to build trust with them, you have two ways basically. You have content and conversations. Content is pre-selling. Conversations is your sales process. So by you putting more weight in the pre-selling, in the content, you are able to remove weight from the conversation, which is your sales process. And the content has leverage, but the conversation doesn't. Okay? For you to build a relationship with 1,000 people through content, your time input is the same as if you are building a relationship with 10,000 people, because you create only the piece of content once. Okay, you create a video for 15 minutes. If you have 10, 20, 1,000, 10,000 people consuming the video, your time input is the same. And every single one of those people is moving in the relationship with you. And you are not there. It's an asset. Conversations. If you compare having to build relationships with 10 people or 1,000 people, your time input is not the same. You need to spend time with each one of those people. Okay, so that's why I put so much focus on long form video content, because it's building relationships at scale with leverage, and I don't need to be talking with all those people in Messenger for the relationship to be built, for them to move in the customer journey. Okay, and it reduces the amount of time I need to spend in the conversation to close the sale.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it's a fantastic strategy because you're kind of building your own library, no? In the excuse me, I still have a cold. You're building your own library in the guide section, so people can, consume your content 24/7, even when you're sleeping. And and as you said, you create the content once, and then it's there as an asset. Definitely.
Yeah, and when you are, what I do a lot is when I'm talking with someone in Messenger and I identify a problem. For example, they tell me I had a problem with traffic. I have a problem with traffic. Instead of me trying to give tips in Messenger, I send them to an asset that already does that explaining for me. Okay. As I built all these assets over time, I've been doing lives for almost 3 years now in my group consistently every week. I have so many assets that help people with so many different problems that I can just identify a problem in Messenger, send them to an asset, and the asset does the relationship building, trust building for me, and gives value on that specific problem they told me without me being there. Okay, so it removes a lot of time I need to spend in Messenger, because the other option would be you trying to give tips in Messenger, for example, which takes your time.
Yeah, so I remember when we started talking and in Messenger, and then you would tag me in a few of your videos. I remember that for me it worked so much better because I think I'm a visual person, so I like to have a video, seeing the person explaining it to me rather than reading it in Messenger. So for me, it really has helped me. And as you said, I instantly got closer to you because I could see your face, I could hear your voice, and it was like, there was an instant kind of trust building, starting to build trust much, much faster than reading messages, definitely. That's interesting. The guide section, building relationship while you're not around. Very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And I can, I've learned it from André. I'm not going to lie. And it works like a charm because it's there. It's in your guide section. It's for whenever someone wants to access your videos, it's there. It's like a library working 24/7 all year round. yeah, it's great.
And the ideas come from people, which is
Yes, yes.
something that I learned in my journey was you don't have to be coming up with topic ideas yourself for the videos. People give you the ideas. So when you are talking with someone and someone tells you I have this specific problem with this part of the process, what you do is you take that idea and you record a video, and that video becomes an asset that you can send to everyone that mentions the same problem. Okay, so you are creating this library of assets based on things your target customer tells you. So you need to use your ears carefully and listen to what people say, and use their words, use their problems, use their roadblocks to create content that gives them value exactly with those things. And people see that, okay, this person is giving me the answer to exactly the problem I told him. And you start having this library of assets. I have so many videos in my Facebook group to solve so many specific problems people told me over the years that now I can just send people to those videos, and those videos build relationships for me. And what I'm doing now with YouTube, that I started recently, is moving all those assets that I already created over the last few years and uploading them to YouTube. I don't need to be creating videos for YouTube now. It's just download the asset from YouTube, from Facebook, upload to YouTube. So it's work I did once, and that has a lot of leverage now because I don't need to be doing all of that again.
Yeah. So you just created a YouTube account as well, and you're repurposing the videos, the live videos from your group. That's amazing. And yeah, this is actually something that really has helped me a lot, because when I started last year in March with live videos, I was like, okay, what could I talk about? And then I was thinking, oh, I could talk about this, or I could talk about that. And then it was more like so I worked as a teacher before, and I felt I was kind of teaching something that I thought could be interesting. But then, and it helped in a way because I more or less knew my targeted audience. But then when I started using the questions from my audience, it was a game changer because the connection was much closer than just me previously thinking, oh yeah, let me talk about this. This sounds interesting. Surely it's helpful. To now, okay, I'm taking the question that I got from you from Messenger, and I'm going to talk about it live, and it will help other people as well. So this has really changed in terms of bringing me closer to my audience. And it obviously is much easier for me as well. So I don't have to think about what could I talk about tonight when I go live. I just listen to what my people say or want, or fears or desires or anything, and then no problem, I'll do a live, and it's helping other people in the group as well.
Yeah, there is a lot of gold in those conversations we have with people, and also in comments people drop in your posts. The questions they ask. Pay very close attention to the questions they ask, because the questions they ask are things they are looking for, and if you give them exactly what they are looking for, trust is built very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially with video content.
And I also think it makes the whole process so much easier because, as you said, just keep it simple, because the questions are there in the conversations, and just use this as a live video. Doesn't have to be too long. So mine are usually around 10 minutes, and then it's great. It's I learned this from you. So.
Yeah, I usually do. I go closer to the 15 usually. That's probably my average. It's around 12, 15 per live.
Yeah, but then I think you have a much larger audience as well. So I think you have a lot more questions usually. So
at the end,
yes, at the end, the Q&A. And I think this is also great. It's not just delivering or answering a question or concern that someone has, on really being there for your audience. Questions like Q&A sessions, I think, gives the impression she's there. She's there. If I have a question, I know I can ask her. I mean, obviously, people can always ask me in Messenger, but sometimes it's, these Q&A, and
and that Q&A is also fuel for future videos, because you get questions that you can use for future videos.
Absolutely. Yeah, if there's a question, you can extend it then and then use it for the next live session. Absolutely. So the principle is actually very simple. And I want to say it's easy because you just take it and you go live. And it just speeds up the bonding process so much, the building the relationship, I find. So yeah, at least this is what I can tell from my experience, and I'm sure you can agree on this.
Yeah, and I think anyone in the comments can relate to it. When you consume a video piece of content from someone or a written piece of content and you never saw the face of the person, which one builds a strong relationship with you? It's the video, because you see the person in a different way. So that's what I started realizing, and I started leveraging the power of video content. And the reason why I did it on Facebook was because of what I mentioned a few minutes ago. Because you are combining Facebook that has quick audience growth with long form video content that builds relationship quickly with those people that are entering your audience. So it's a very powerful combination. Instead of, for example, being on YouTube and waiting for the audience, you are on Facebook where you have the audience quickly and you put the long form video content in front of them that accelerates the trust building process.